Well, g'day everyone and welcome back. I just said welcome back, but I currently have 3 subscribers, so it's probably more like welcome to the channel, Simple Film Studios. Today we're going to be talking about the Canon R10, its capabilities, what it's like for me as an amateur, somebody getting into photography and videography, and what I've personally found with this camera. But in case it's night time where you are, why don't you pour yourself a beverage and enjoy. I'm just kidding, I actually got that one off Mark's Camera Crisis. I just love the way that he does the intro. By the way, great channels, and something that I want to talk about is I don't predominantly do this as a job. So I play a lot of golf, and I started a golf channel years ago, and that's my main channel, except through that I've had to go and teach myself about videography and photography and how I can actually make that channel better. And in doing that, following guys like the Film Alliance, Mark's Camera Crisis, I actually found a very big passion for photography and videography, and so here we are. But today, we're here to talk about this bad boy, the Canon R10, if that focuses with my little Sony ZV-1 there, which is, you know, it was really good. I had the Sony ZV-1, I used it for a lot of my videos for a long time. I wanted to upgrade into something that was, you know, the next step up for me as an amateur. So, I grabbed the Canon R10, and I got to tell you, straight out of the box, I was super impressed with the results. But it's not all sunshine and rainbows. There are some downsides to the Canon R10 that I've found using it compared to the Sony. We're going to go through them. Some of the things that you might want to look out for. Is this camera for you? Is this not for you? That's what we're going to try and help you with today. So first of all, let's get into and talk about photography. Now, the Canon R10 comes with a couple of different stock lens options. So basically the kit lens is an 18 to 45mm lens here. Now this is an f-stop 4.5 to 6.3 lens. I got to be honest, whilst you can still produce some really good photos out of this lens, like these ones here, there are limitations to it, and it is a kit lens, and whilst it performs pretty good for somebody who might just be getting into photography or videography, if you're going to be outside and all of that sort of stuff, it definitely has limitations. So my first point would be to make sure that you upgrade your lenses and you get better glass. So for what I'm doing, I wanted a bit of an all-rounder. I wanted something that I can use in my indoor simulator while I'm doing a whole lot of videography like this. That could be in the hole. 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 That could be... Oh, you are... And also I wanted to take it outside and be able to do this. But not only that, I've actually found that with a lens that I've personally picked, which I'm going to get to in a second, there's a whole lot more versatility to that, and you can have some really good still shots. You can also do a whole lot of really cool time lapses, which I'm going to get into in a minute. But the lens is on my camera because that's where it lives at the moment, and that is the Canon 16mm f2.8 lens. So this little guy, which to be honest, I've found to be so easy to use. I mean, like, it's just as simple as plugging it on and going. But there are some things that I want to talk about in the Canon R10 that are really going to help if you're just getting into it like me, that maybe I could troubleshoot with you. The reason why I'm able to get shots like this is because I decided, instead of using auto white balance, to use custom white balance. I found for me personally that was one of the biggest steps in actually getting really good photos that take less color grading in post-production, and I also moved to RAW photos instead of JPEG files. So JPEG files were good, they produced a decent photo, but then when I tried to color grade them, they kind of fell apart a little bit. So I went on YouTube, I learned a whole lot about photography, what images I should use. I now shoot everything in RAW. It's just much easier to build the photo back up without it all falling apart. The one reason why I say you might want RAW and JPEG, which the Canon R10 can do, is because if you want to export those JPEG files quick from your camera, which you can with the Canon camera app, it's a really good app. Actually, it gets them straight off the camera. It's got its own built-in Wi-Fi, so you can do it on the road, you can do it on the go, you can do it anywhere. But if you quickly want to share something to social media, grab it off the camera, throw it up on social media, then the JPEGs are really good for that. So I mentioned time-lapse. Time-lapse is something that I haven't done a whole lot of, but I thought I'd give it a go with the Canon R10. I did 2 versions of time-lapse, which I'm going to throw up in a second, and these are going to be fantastic for my B-roll footage and all that sort of stuff that I'm building into my golf videos on my golf channel. But let's take a look at the first one, which is just before the sun goes down, and then the second one is so cool. It's like a silhouette time-lapse after the sun is actually down with that beautiful orange sky. Let's check it out. That is a really cool feature and really simple and really easy to set up. I'm not going to run through the setup because there's plenty of tutorials and videos to show you how to do that, but it is really, really simple. The next thing that I wanted to mention is videography. When I first got the camera, I obviously was so eager to go and use it. I just wanted to get out there, just wanted to use the camera. So I just went straight down to the beach with my wife and kids. And I thought, you know what, I'm just going to shoot everything in auto. I'm just going to see how it performs. And this is what happened. So straight out of the box, I would say that as a complete auto setting without doing anything fancy whatsoever, that is really, really good quality. I will mention that I had it on a Ronin RSC2 gimbal just to help with the stability because this, well, doesn't have any stability. But it was shot on the kit lens. I didn't actually have this lens at the time. So everything that you just saw was straight out of the kit lens, and it is really, really good footage that you could use for pretty much anything, especially the family-oriented stuff, the video vlogs, throwing anything up on YouTube. It's really good. The quality is awesome. Now, as I've started to go through the camera and actually, use it and dive into it and adjust the settings and customize it to the way that I personally like to use the camera, there are a couple of downsides that you might want to know. This camera doesn't have the best heating capabilities. Now, what I mean by that is it can actually handle a little bit, but it's quite hot here on the Gold Coast of Queensland. So when I've got it in my garage and I'm doing my simulator videos, I know that I've got about 25 to 30 minutes before this puppy is going to start to overheat. It's quite hot in there. It's like 35 degrees Celsius in the garage. I can't necessarily have fans because then it messes with my radar unit for golf. So, there's kind of tricks that I'm trying to navigate through with that. But it does overheat a little bit quicker than my Sony. The second point kind of trails off that is that when I've got my Sony, if it does overheat and the camera shuts down, it still saves the video file that I've been recording. Because I'm in a simulator, because I'm playing golf rounds and all that sort of stuff, my videos go to sometimes 35, 40-minute recordings in one shoot. So if I've done 35, 40 minutes recording, this overheats and shuts down, I've lost the file completely, I have nothing. Whereas with the Sony, I at least had the file there. I could just press record again once it's cooled down a little bit. I could finish the recording. Can't do that with the Canon. The next thing is the Sony. You had a power adapter where you can actually plug into the Sony and that basically gave you endless battery life. So the Sony would run and charge at the same time and you could record while that was happening. With the Canon, can't do that. You can plug it in and it will charge the battery, but you can't actually use the camera while it's charging. It's a little bit of a downside. I'd say it's a very big downside, because what's the point of getting an external battery pack if you're trying to rig this puppy out? If it can't actually do that, it's pretty pointless for me, because I'm shooting 30 to 40 minute blocks at a time. If you're somebody who's shooting, just 2-minute random things or a minute things here, there and everywhere, then that battery pack would work, but just not for me. So those are the downsides which I just mentioned, but outside of that, really, the Canon color science and just the stock footage that you get out of this, whether it's going to be photos, whether it's going to be videos, is absolutely incredible. In fact, I've gone through and I've done course vlogs on this and I've been amazed at how I can keep the skies so blue without overexposing. The grass still stays nice and lush and green, and I don't have to do a whole lot of color grading to it. The batteries, like in all small cameras, are not the best. You're probably going to get 45 minutes to an hour, depending how you're shooting, out of a camera like this. So I always buy 2 more batteries. So I've got 3 batteries, never a problem then. I just swap them in, swap them out. It is really easy. You just got the door. You literally pull the battery out, put the battery in. Doesn't get much easier than that. So guys, that's pretty much it for my preliminary review of the Canon R10 camera. Now, I think it personally is fantastic. But what I'm really looking forward to and what's going to be on the next video is I'm actually going away. I'm going to be taking the Canon R10 with me. I'm going to be going and doing a whole lot more stuff. Now that I'm familiar with the camera, I'm going to set it in its best manual settings that I possibly know as an amateur to see what kind of footage that I can get out of it. I'm going to have it on gimbals, I'm going to do time lapses, I'm going to do B-roll. It's going to be really, really awesome. So make sure, if you haven't subscribed already, which you probably haven't because I've got 3 subscribers, to hit that subscribe button, bell notification, like, because I need all the help I can get. Thank you very much. Peace. That's me out. Thanks, guys. I'm Dave Maxfield. I hope you like this from Simple Film Studios. If you do, please let me know, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.